Christmas holiday as we know it today was taking shape during the Civil War. In this episode, we will look at how Union soldiers celebrated it and how they dealt with separation from their families. The soldiers' writings and letters and diaries about Christmas provide insights into what they ate, thought, and did, as well as the morale of the Army. For most, life in the Army was their first time away from home. In fact, one of the first acts of the war happened on Christmas. Only a few days after South Carolina seceded, Major Robert Anderson decided his position at Fort Moultrie was not defensible if he was attacked. On Christmas night, 1860, he moved his garrison across the bay and occupied Fort Sumter. When war cries erupted across the nation, few imagined it would last till Christmas, let alone the next 3 Christmases. Some did what they could to carry on traditions familiar to them to celebrate the day.
On Christmas Day, the camp was in fete. In the morning, we had a full dress review and inspection and were then dismissed for the day, only the guard being on duty. Most of the officers went to Alexandria, the others dispersed amongst their friends and other commands, everyone in search for amusement. I remained in camp to dinner, and had a very good one with enough of liquid refreshments to properly digest it. Josiah Fable, 57th New York Infantry.
Though December 25th was a special day for so many, regular duties of the Army continued. However, in their downtime, some regiments worked to add decorations while in fixed camp.
On the day preceding Christmas, Colonel Riley suggested that we decorate the camp. During the day, we obtained hundreds of cedar and fir trees, which grew near there in abundance. Every street was adorned with them. Sergeant Fred Floyd, 40th New York Infantry.
Sergeant Floyd went on to talk in detail about his first Christmas meal as a soldier.
Our Christmas menu consisted of beef steak and potatoes for breakfast, beef soup for dinner, and boiled rice for supper, with bread, coffee, and tea at each meal. Some had boxes sent from home filled with the good things of life.
In 1862, morale in the Army of the Potomac was low after setbacks that year. The difficult defeat at Fredericksburg occurred just days before.
December 25th, 1862 was not a Merry Christmas to the boys in blue on the banks of the Rappahannock, but recently returned from their ill-starred expedition across the river. It was our second Christmas away from home, and the gloomiest of them all, for we were not yet recovered from the depression of the late battles. Still, as always, there was a disposition to be cheerful and hopeful, and lots of talk about the folks at home and the good Christmas dinner they would like to have if they could only get it. James Wright, 1st Minnesota Infantry.
Dreaming of a good family Christmas dinner was understandable, given the condition of some men's rations.
We made Christmas dinner on beef, hardtack, and coffee. I had fortunately completed my meal when Moore made a discovery which checked him midway in his, that the hardtack were full of bugs and worms. This is no uncommon thing of late, but his face was the most laughable thing of the day. Charles Hayden, 2nd Michigan Infantry.
On December 26, 1862, George Benedict of the 12th Vermont sent an illustrative letter to his hometown newspaper. He described camp where he hoped to spend the winter. During the second Christmas many were spending away from loved ones, the routines and difficulties of soldier life had settled in. Benedict's detailed account shows the ingenuity used to create a rewarding Christmas meal.
Those who suppose our life in the Army an idle one should try it a while. Yesterday being Christmas was comparatively a leisure day, but it was almost the only one we've had. We had a very fair Christmas in camp. By hard work the day before, our mess had stockaded our tent. That is, raised it up some 3 or 4 feet on sides of logs laid like a log house. It is in fact a little log house with a canvas roof. We have in it a very good California stove, a sheet of iron over a square hole in the ground, with a flue leading to a little chimney of brick and stovepipe outside. And as we've been confined of late to rations of hardtack and salt pork, we decided to have a special Christmas dinner. We got some excellent oysters of the Sutler, also some potatoes, very nice ones. I officiated as cook and, as all agreed, got up a capital dinner. I made as good an oyster soup as one often gets, also fried some oysters with breadcrumbs, for we are the fortunate owners of a frying pan in our tent. Now that's not such a bad living for poor soldiers, is it? We do not have it every day, though, but we have had many luxuries since our Thanksgiving boxes came. George Benedict, 12th Vermont Infantry.
While life was difficult in camps, it could not compare to the challenges and misery of being a prisoner of war. By Christmas 1863, the population in prisoner of war camps was exploding because of the breakdown in the parole system earlier that year. Conditions on both sides deteriorated. Officers' prisons, such as Libby Prison in Richmond, Virginia, had additional means to make the best of their situation.
Very pleasant Christmas day, baked meat and beans for breakfast, oysters, crackers, potatoes, cornbread, pickles, salmon canned, turkey, canned corn, peach pie, peach sauce, blackberry sauce, fruitcake, currant and raspberry wines, and green apples for our Christmas dinner in Libby. Captain Alonzo Keeler, 22nd Michigan Infantry.
While conditions were anything but comfortable at Libby, Captain Keeler does describe a much better meal than an enlisted man who wrote from Belle Isle Prison, also in Richmond.
Christmas, and nothing but the usual rations, and as hungry as a poor dog. Well, it is the poorest and most cheerless Christmas that I've ever experienced, and that I'll ever have to. Osborne Coburn, 6th Michigan Cavalry.
Perhaps the best, or at least largest Christmas gift given during the war was from General Sherman to President Lincoln. On December 22, 1864, he sent the following telegram.
I beg to present you as a Christmas gift the city of Savannah with 150 heavy guns and plenty of ammunition, and also about 25,000 bales of cotton. William Tecumseh Sherman, Army of the Tennessee.
When Savannah fell, the Union Army and citizens were jubilant. Besides a victorious march to the sea, soldiers enjoyed delicacies not found on the march through Georgia.
On December 24th, the writer took a trip down to the city with the avowed intention of getting something for Christmas dinner on the next day. Visiting some of the large stores that had opened up and were doing quite a business, we each secured a very fine military cap, a $2.50 pack of cards, and 2 pounds each of fine smoking tobacco. Going down to the wharf, we then bought 1 bushel of oysters in the shell and some sweet potato pies, paying for them in Confederate money. Having secured the nucleus for a good dinner, we returned to camp. William R. Oak, 26th Iowa Infantry.
In Virginia, at the same time, the men were enjoying being in a fixed area around Petersburg with a strong supply base.
You would probably be wondering at home today how I'm spending my Christmas, and whether at the noonday meal I had the pleasure of trying my teeth on an ancient gobbler. Very little attention has been paid to the day. The men are all working on their huts, and while all the officers are busy with their book and papers. We tried to get turkey for dinner, but failed, and as a substitute ordered a keg of oysters from City Point, which were to have been here this forenoon but did not arrive until too late for dinner. The consequence was we dined on stewed beef and potatoes with canned peaches. I will close by love and a Merry Christmas to all, and hoping to have a letter by the morrow's mail. Lieutenant James Thomas, 107th Pennsylvania.
With the end of the war starting to feel close, and the armies in a more stationary environment, the men had time to miss home and traditions. This might have been especially true for the men convalescing in hospitals for sick and wounded. From his hospital bed, Thomas Stevens wrote his wife in 1864.
My darling Carrie, today and tonight you are as busy as you can be, I suppose, with your Christmas tree and other holiday arrangements for the children, but not too busy, I know, to think of me and wish I could be with you to see and to help, as I am wishing I could be, even if only for a day. Here I have done but little, but sit about and read all day, and can do nothing else this evening except sit and think of my own wife and our little ones and all our friends at home, and wish them a Merry Christmas. Tomorrow we are to have a Christmas dinner at our hospital. Don't know it will be anything extra, and don't care so long as my loved ones cannot share it with me. I have thought I would hang up my stocking tonight, for I feel almost certain I should get something in it, say a dose of pills or a quinine powder.
A year earlier, Stevens had written, obviously homesick and wishing he were with them.
A Merry Christmas to you, my Carrie, and to our little darlings, to bright-eyed Lulu and baby Mary. Oh, that I could be with you today to visit with you through this pleasant holiday, and the next 7. Would it not be a pleasant Christmas? For me it would, and I'm sure it would be for you. But we cannot be together today, so we will each think of the other and thus spend the day as happily as we may.
Thankfully for Thomas, he was home with his beloved family before another Christmas came to pass. For over 600,000 never came home from the war and were never able to reunite with their families to enjoy a large meal, family moments, and other traditions of Christmas.